Getaway day in Kansas City. The two ball clubs, the Royals and the Blue Jays, have split the first two games of this series. The Blue Jays trying to win the season series here in Kansas City for the first time since 2003. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler. And Pat, the Blue Jays lost a tough game on Monday night, 5-4 in extra innings, but really bounced back with a laugh for scoring 13 runs here last night. And it didn't take long for Jose Bautista to set the tone for the hitters.
For hitters, home runs come in bunches, and Jose Bautista seems to be in one of those stretches where the home runs are coming off of his bat. 6 of them now in the month of July. And when you watch him, RBIs his first 2 times up in yesterday's ball game. And what I love about Bautista is that line drive stroke with power. This double to left center field shows you the type of hitter he is. The ball really jumps off of his bat.
And defensively, Bautista has played a great right field here, taking a base hit away from Billy Butler. He is truly becoming one of the best all-around players on this Blue Jays ball club. Aaron Hill, the second baseman, is finally back to 200. First time he's hit 200 since early in May, and he's really starting to show signs that bat's coming around.
Yeah, he certainly is. What a road trip for Aaron Hill so far. He had his second 3-hit game on this road trip. He has raised his batting average 13 points, and when you watch him, the swing is shorter. He is becoming the hitter that we all know he can be when he is swinging at strikes. And on top of that, the defense hasn't faltered at all this year.
Surely playing like an all-star, and yeah, and a great double play, and then he took a couple of hits away with diving catches at second base. He is really coming together here in the month of July. Bottom part of the order has really been important for Cito Gaston. The club hit 8 doubles in last night's game, and John Buck and Edwin Encarnacion really made a contribution.
Big production from the bottom of the lineup. 6 hits, all doubles from these two. 4 runs scored and 4 RBIs. When you take a look at these guys, they are so strong. They don't have to square up every ball to get extra bases. They've got strong hands, they have short swings, and the ball really jumps off of their bat. Also, great production at the bottom of the lineup for Cito Gaston's team.
Blue Jays scored 13 runs on 16 hits on Tuesday night, and they are really playing with a lot of conviction right now. They're going to face the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League. Zach Greinke goes to the mound. The last time they saw Greinke, he held them to 2 runs on 2 hits, took a no decision over 7 innings. It's the getaway game and the rubber game of this 3-game series. Blue Jays had a laugh for last night. Nick Lave at home plate exchanging the lineup cards. That's Jason Kendall, the regular catcher, who's not playing today. But Nick Lava wanted to send along birthday wishes to his father, Bert Lava. It's his birthday today, and we wanted to make sure we said hello to Bert. Happy birthday. Now, John Gibbons, the manager for the Blue Jays for almost 4 seasons, is in his 2nd year as the bench coach here in Kansas City. He was originally hired by Trey Hillman. Hillman was replaced on May 13th. Ned Yost took over. And I asked John Buck what the transition was like after the managerial switch.
Buck, it really hasn't changed. It's been a smooth transition. I got to know Ned a little bit in spring training. He was, when they hired him last fall, he came to spring training with us and was on the field, and so I got to know him a little bit. So, I mean, it's it was kind of, everything has happened kind of smooth. But as far you know how it is. I mean, bench coach. I mean, you need him, but the manager's running the show there. And what I might do is I might throw a little info his way, or he may ask for something, and I give it to him. But the manager's running the game, so it's not that big of an adjustment. But it's been a nice, easy transition, no question.
John, you got a chance to manage, of course, in Toronto. After looking back now, after a year or so from that job, what do you know about managing that you didn't know before you took the job?
It's a tough job. It's a tough racket, and you know as well as anybody. You go into it. Everybody thinks they're going to win. They're going to win it all, and it's just not that easy. I mean, you got to have a lot of luck go your way. You got to have the horses on the field, and everything's got to fall into place. But it was a great experience. I learned a heck of a lot, and I'll cherish that. I'd love another shot at it someday, but those jobs are tough to come by. But I've got a lot of fond memories of that place.
One of the real good guys in baseball, John Gibbons, of course, caught up with a lot of his players and some of his coaching staff when he was first out here on Monday afternoon to say hi to everybody and get reacquainted. But, yeah, it's a good guy. He's doing a good job here in Kansas City. Cito Gaster pondering his lineup. It's a good one. He'll send out there today. Last night they pounded out 16 hits and led to 13 runs. Aaron Hill, we talked about his hot bat of late. Another 3-hit night last night. Over his last 5 games, he's at .381, 8 for 21 with a double and a home run. And we see Aaron Hill now using the whole field, not trying to overpower the baseball, just trying to take what the pitchers are giving him.
Tracking it a lot better. He is swinging at strikes. And for me, watching him the last week or so, his swing has become a lot shorter also. And the batting average is now up over 200. He has raised it 13 points on this road trip, hitting .381 so far in the second half. So Blue Jays hoping to get that going for him.
Well, you can see the Royals still waiting on Zach Greinke. He's just completed his warm-up process down in the bullpen. He's come down, and now you can see him down at the end of the bench making his way to the stairs, and he's just about ready to lead his team onto the field. So the Royals will take the field here this afternoon. This is a rubber game. The Royals won the extra inning game on Monday. Toronto stormed back with 13 runs last night. Their largest margin of victory, 12 runs last night all season long. And Zach Greinke is the type of guy that you might expect could cool down some hot bats. But I don't know. This Blue Jays team really swinging it right now.
From top to bottom, this is a team that is averaging nearly 7 runs a game on this road trip. And this is something that they have had to do when they set out on this road trip to play in Baltimore and they're playing Kansas City. You need to pound on those guys, and they have certainly done that. They'll be up against it, though, this afternoon against Zach Greinke, making his team-leading 20th start of the season. He had a 4-game winning streak snapped here on Friday night. He gave up 5 runs, but just 2 of them were earned against the Oakland A's. He was a little wild in that game. He walked 4 batters. I think it had something to do with knocking the rust off. He hadn't made a start before then for 10 days. That was against Seattle. Before that, his last loss came on June the 8th at Minnesota. Reigning Cy Young Award winner with great stuff. Loves pitching here at Kauffman Stadium, so the Blue Jays are going to be up against it.
Well, a lot of defensive changes for Ned Yost in the lineup. Wilson Betterman making his first start in left field. Mitch Meyer is the everyday center fielder. David DeJesus has played there in the previous 2 games. Willie Bloomquist starting for the 5th time in right. Up the middle, it's Betancourt and Aviles, Callaspo and Butler at the corners. Brian Pena behind the plate, making just his 6th start of the season.
In his first at catcher since June the 26th. This is a team with 65 errors. They used to have their lineups dotted with Gold Glove winners. They have only won Gold Gloves twice in this decade.
Always a trademark of this great Royals franchise was good speed, good defense, and a lot of Gold Glove players all over the diamond. Fred Lewis set. Takes a breaking ball from Zach Greinke. First pitch of the ball game.
What a job Fred Lewis has done in the second half of the season. In 5 games, he has reached base his first at bat all 5 times.
Chases the high fastball. It's 1-1. Lewis has 3 hits in a series. He was robbed of a possible double, maybe triple, in the 6th inning in last night's game. He hit a line drive right at the first baseman. 2 balls and a strike as Greinke misses inside. Zach Greinke, quite a different start to his season. 5-9 as we start play here today. Bouncing ball. Aviles has it. And Lewis is retired. 1 down here in the first.
Well, you know what you're going to get from that Cy Young Award winner, Zach Greinke. Let's take a look at his scouting report. He has got outstanding command. That fastball he will use. Just 26 walks in 125 innings this year, so be ready to swing it. For him, he's got 2 put-away pitches for me, a slider and a curveball. Usually good pitchers just have that one. He's got 2 of them, and he needs some help. They are scoring just 3.5 runs a game for Zach Greinke, and that's why his record is where it is at 5-9. 6th worst run support in the American League.
John McDonald starting at shortstop. Takes the ball outside. It's a ball and a strike. McDonald was sitting in the locker room. Nick Leyva came over, tapped him on the shoulder, says, "You're in there again in the 2 spot." Yunel Escobar was originally in the lineup, and Escobar tried to take some swings. That bruise on his right hand still not where it needs to be, so McDonald gets 2 starts in a row, and Escobar hopefully will be back in the lineup tomorrow.
And you know how important that is with your hands. If they are sore, you can get into some bad habits if you go up there trying to swing with some pain.
So breaking ball outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to John McDonald. McDonald was 0 for 6 in the game last night. Hops it up down the right side and drifting over into foul territory. Willie Bloomquist just runs out of room. Pat, you talk about that game last night. Cito Gaston after the game called it a team win, and I think you can really characterize it by the way everybody contributed. Pitching was good. Jesse Litch got some support early, and everybody up and down the order really did a good job of grinding and having good at bats.
Certainly a lot different than what we saw Monday night when Cito Gaston talked about that game. Last night we got great defense, base running. You saw some intensity, and not just in spurts. It seemed like the Blue Jays played from the first pitch to the last pitch very hard.
2-2 pitch. McDonald swings and misses. He strikes out. First strikeout of the afternoon for Zach Greinke.
125 strikeouts for Greinke. He can use that fastball upstairs, inside, outside. He has that ability to go all over the strike zone. This is a guy who broke Mark Guba's single game club record for strikeouts with 15 last year.
Slow breaking ball for a strike. Jose Bautista, big night last night. Home run, double, and a single. He drove in 5 and scored 2. Major league leader in home runs with 26. Push him back off the plate. Greinke is truly a guy that can command the strike zone, but he does it at a different level than everybody else. 96, 97 with real good command.
Yeah, he can use that fastball with different miles per hour. He also has a very slow curveball. He'll use that to throw off the timing of those batters.
2 balls and a strike, 2 outs here in the first inning. 3-1. Six home runs in his last 13 games for Jose Bautista. Went too far. Greinke crossed him up, threw a bit of a cut fastball away, and Bautista committed. Full count. left field. Wilson Betterman in left field for the first time this year makes the catch, and the Blue Jays go quietly in the first. Zach Greinke has a 1-2-3 first inning. One thing they don't have an awful lot of extra base power. Take a look at the lineup for Yost Bloomquist, Aviles, and Billy Butler. Butler hit in the cleanup spot in the first two games. He moves up to third here tonight, this afternoon against the left-hander. He's ninth in the American League with 110 base hits, but Billy Butler is a power guy, only has 9 home runs and 47 RBI.
Keeps the ball in the middle of the field. He's got a short stroke, and you know that power is going to come around eventually. Hitting 280 versus left-handers. That's why they have him hitting third this afternoon. Mark Zebchinski will come out of the bullpen to make his second start and fourth appearance of the season. He made his season debut on July the 7th versus Minnesota. This was supposed to be Ricky Romero's start, but the Blue Jays wanted to hold him back and throw him tomorrow and give him one more day to rest that finger where he got a little bit of a blister problem in Baltimore.
So Zebchinski gets the call. Blue Jays currently carrying 13 pitchers, and they just have 3 extra men on the bench. Willie Bloomquist takes the ball up and away. That evens the count of the ball on the strike. Bloomquist did not play in last night's game. He started in right field in the first game of this series. Had a hit in 3 trips and scored a run. 2 balls and a strike.
Bloomquist got off to a very rough start this year for Kansas City. But since the middle of May, he has found his way into the starting rotation out there for Ned Yost and hitting over 300.
Bouncing ball to third. Encarnacion on the short hop. Good play. Fine defensive play to start the game for Encarnacion. He had to take it on the short hop and made it flawlessly.
Do you think offense at time is tied to defensive players? He is swinging the bat really well. This is about his 3rd or 4th play in this series that has been outstanding. Bloomquist can really get down that line. Encarnacion on the short hop and in one motion throws him out at first base. Very nice play.
Right on the money to first. 1 out. Mike Aviles moves up into the 2 spot this afternoon. Takes the first pitch strike. Aviles hit 8th in last night's game. He was shut out 0 for 3. 0-2. Royals getting their first look at Mark Zebchinski. A lot of people asking a lot of questions about what they should expect.
They were also asking, how do you pronounce his name?
That was the first question.
Yeah, from a lot of the people in Kansas City. What does he feature? Well, he features a good breaking ball, I think. And when he's throwing it for strikes, he's tough.
And there it is. First strikeout of the afternoon comes on the breaking ball. Aviles goes down swinging.
That is a sweeping breaking ball thrown from about 3/4. Tough on lefties, also tough on righties when you start it in the middle of the plate and it drops on the inner half.
Well, the Blue Jays are riding a real hot streak with their starting pitching, going back 6 starts now. They've had 6 good starts in a row. Sepchinski trying to extend that. Billy Butler batting third here tonight. Ricky Romero, Brett Cease, a part of that one time through the rotation. It's been so effective. Jesse Litch actually got it started in the final game before the All-Star break. Good outing against Boston, going 7 innings, scattering 4 hits.
Matched up against Lester, so he had to be good in that game. And they've kept it riding right through the break.
2 balls and a strike to Billy Butler. But it's all about pitching. You get your pitchers out there and get them to pitch into the 7th and 8th inning, and as a pitcher, that gives you plenty of time to allow your offense to score you some runs.
Yeah, and they certainly did that in yesterday's game. I think it makes the defense a little bit better. We've seen some of that in this series also.
Good changeup. Butler swings right over the top of it. I spoke to John McDonnell about that, and he said it was a very crisp game because Jesse Litch was pounding the strike zone. Changes the whole demeanor of your defense behind you. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fly ball, right field, not that deep. Bautista's got plenty of room and makes the catch. Sepchinski with a 1-2-3 inning. We played an inning here in Kansas City. We're scoreless. And 9, and you can see where he was after 19 starts a year ago. 10-5, ERA just over 2. But look at the difference in the home runs. That's what's really hurt him this year.
Yeah, it certainly has. Those are ridiculous numbers from 2009. And this year, a lot of it, though, has to do with run support early in the season. They just were not scoring him any runs. The bullpen were not holding leads when he left games.
Vernon Wells takes the first pitch outside for a ball.
Another thing we'll have to watch from Greinke is the start right before the All-Star break. He tweaked his shoulder on a throw to first base. He was supposed to start the last game before the break, but they elected to skip that start, give him the 4 days off the All-Star break, and he came right back after that. Now, he knocked some rust off, and I think that's why he had 4 walks in his last start.
Vernon Wells right back up the middle into center field, a base hit to start the second. Adam Lind will come to the plate with Wells at first and nobody out, and Adam Lind is enjoying a career high 13-game hit streak that ties his career high.
Production all the way around, the 4 home runs. He had a bullet out of here in last night's game with the 8 RBIs. The average going up now. He has raised his average 15 points. 13-game hit streak matches a career high. The longest streak for a Blue Jay this year, Vernon Wells had a 14-gamer earlier.
and takes the first pitch strike from Greinke. We mentioned earlier Zach Greinke held the Blue Jays to just 2 runs on 2 hits through 7 innings. He was matched up against Sean Markham back in April at Rogers Center. Royals would come back and win that game in the 10th inning. A 2-out home run off the bat of Alex Gordon. The difference in that ball game is the Royals salvaged the final game of the 3-game series.
That had to be a quick one if Greinke and Markham were matched up against each other.
It was an afternoon game on Wednesday, and it was getaway day. 0-2, up and in. Greinke does that very effectively. He pushes hitters off the plate if he senses they're getting a little too comfortable leaning out over the plate.
He's almost like a Greg Maddux with a 94 or 95 mile an hour fastball. He can move it around the strike zone, change speeds.
A ball and 2 strikes. Got a piece of the breaking ball, stays alive.
Very difficult to pick up a pattern from Zach Greinke. Here's the home run from Adam Lind in last night's game. It looked like a breaking ball over the middle of the plate. It's a line drive. And everybody on the bench was saying, get up. And it certainly did, right off the top of the wall for the home run.
Number 13 on the season for Adam Lind. Came in the 8th inning against Blake Wood. Vernon Wells with the leadoff single. First hit of the ball game. Then chased a high fastball up and away. He goes down swinging. Second strikeout for Zach Greinke.
Been chasing a lot of those high fastballs from the Royals this series. Struck out 3 times on Monday night. Goes down for the first time here. They have been able to elevate that fastball on Adam Lind with 2 strikes.
Now the second baseman Aaron Hill will step in. Hill with a 3-hit night last night. And another fastball up and in. 5th time this year Aaron Hill's had a 3-hit game. His average at .202. Up over the Mendoza line for the first time since the first week of May.
Hard to believe, isn't it? Since May. But it's on the rise, and I think it's going to keep going up.
Another fastball inside. He ducks away from. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, he's had good at bats over the last 10-15 days, and I think now the hits are starting to fall, and I don't think you see the same kind of tension that he had in his hands we saw earlier.
Yeah, the very short swing. He is seeing the ball a lot better. He's not anxious at the plate. At least it doesn't appear to be that he is anxious swinging at balls over his head or out of the strike zone. He's tracking it a lot better. The swing is shorter, and the results have been sensational.
There's a strike that makes it 3-1. Well, I think Aaron Hill is comfortable knowing he's got a hot hitter behind him on deck in Lyle Overbay. And if he doesn't get a good pitch to hit here 3-1, he'll turn things over to Overbay. Bouncing ball, gloved by Callaspo, across the diamond in the dirt, dug out by Butler. Good play by Callaspo, and he got some help from his first baseman. Vernon Wells goes to second on the play.
Made a play in last night's game going to his left to throw out a base runner. Tonight he goes to his right. Snags it, has the presence of mind and the arm strength to get it across the diamond. He knows that he has no shot at Vernon Wells at second base. This saves Zach Greinke a run right there.
Lyle Overbay will bat with 2 outs and a man in scoring position. Overbay, big numbers against Greinke, 7 for 18 with a couple of home runs. Greinke misses with that fastball down at 95. See Greinke talking to Pena after that pitch, talking about the signs, what set of signs they were using with the runner at second base for the first time. Outside indicator down to the fingers. Overbay slices it, but that's going to slice into the seats. Last year, when Greinke got off to that great start, his first 11 games when the Blue Jays saw him, he was 8-1 with a 1.10 ERA, and he hadn't given up a home run. Lyle Overbay hit the first home run off Greinke last year on June 5th. 11 games before he gave up the long ball. Hopped in the air, deep center field. Mitch Meyer calls for it, and Greinke gets out of it. Gives up a leadoff single, but strands a base runner.
He's got a fastball with good movement, good sink on it. I think that'll send right-handers going crazy back to the dugout. He's got that biting curveball. We've already seen that when he struck out Aviles with that one. Backwards thinking for Mark Zebchinski. I think he's very smart on the mound. In a fastball count, he'll pitch backwards and throw his breaking ball because he has the ability to get over in a fastball count, and then vice versa. In a breaking ball count, he can pop that fastball in there.
Wilson Benjamin, the switch hitter, batting right-handed against Zebchinski, fouls off the first pitch. In left field for the first time this year as a starter. And Yost not really that familiar with Zebchinski, just got as many right-handed bats into the lineup as he could. David DeJesus gets the day off. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Boy, that was well received by Molina.
Yeah, he has been outstanding. Well, just watching him catch the ball, watch how soft his hands are, and he pulls it right back in and gets the call for his pitcher.
You know, there's so much talking, and you hear it all the time. Well, he framed that pitch well. Well, you know, he does a good job of getting strikes. I think the least movement you have, littlest movement possible, is the best sign to the umpire that you think it's a strike. Molina is very quiet behind the plate. Pitchers love throwing to him.
At times it feels like catchers take pitches away from their pitcher when they're moving their glove all over the place after they caught it.
A ball and 2 strikes in the dirt. Bounces off of Molina. 2-2. Now you saw a shot of John Buck sitting with Dwayne Murphy. And John Buck had a big night last night. 3 more doubles. He has 20 doubles on the season. And he just continues to have a banner year. Full count. We're scoreless here at bottom of the 2nd inning. Mark Zebchinski starting against the Royals for the first time. Bouncing ball to short. McDonald quickly unloads in plenty of time to get better.
There was that backwards thinking right there. Breaking ball to get the out. Defensively for the Blue Jays this afternoon, it'll be Lewis, Wells, and Bautista in the outfield. Same infield. John McDonald with his second straight start with Yuno Escobar nursing that bruise. Jose Molina behind the plate. Day game after a night game. And Aaron Hill flashing some leather last night. We showed us a couple of those line drives that he caught in last night's game. He also had a third chance that was in his glove. Almost had it hit the ground and it popped out. Playing some tremendous defense.
The pop-up behind second. Tough play for Hill. Now he's under control, and he's there and makes the catch. Got back quickly and made an easy play of it once he got his body turned around and faced the infield. Mark Zepchinski has retired the first 5 batters he's faced here. This is Zepchinski's 4th appearance of the season, just his 2nd start. Started on the 7th of July against the Twins. Got a no decision in that game in a 6-5 Blue Jays win.
7 strikeouts in that game for Zepchinski. Pitched into the 6th inning.
Alberto Callaspo swings at a 2-0 pitch, another flare. This one's going to get down in front of Bautista. Callaspo gets the first hit off Zepchinski, a 2-out single into right.
They will fight you up at that plate and battle you. They really track the ball a long way to the Kansas City Royals. I think that's why you see a lot of flares and Texas leaguers, broken bats, because they track it so long. It's a tough team to strike out. Blue Jays had just 1 in last night's game.
The catcher, Brian Pena. Pena doesn't get to play an awful lot with Jason Kendall here as the everyday catcher. Pena's a switch hitter as well. You could see a 172 average, just hasn't had too many opportunities. Base hit, fair ball down the right field line. Callaspo around second. He's headed for third. Bautista gets it to throw to second base. Not in time. Brian Pena slashes a base hit just inside the bag. It goes down the right field line for a double.
Lyle Overbase saved a couple of runs in last night's game with the exact same type of play. A runner on first base and a right-hander bounding one around the right field line. Bautista comes up smartly and thinks he has a shot at Pena. This is a very tough play for the middle infielder with a runner on first, an extra base hit. That runner at first, if he's heads up, if you don't get that ball back in quickly, he might be able to score from first.
How about John McDonald leaving his position, knowing the throw was offline, to make sure he had it to control the base runner at third? What a heads-up play. So now with 2 down and 2 on, second and third, Mitch Meyer, the center fielder, will bat against Zepchinski. First pitch strike. Meyer did not play in Monday's game, was in right field in last night's game, and moves to center here this afternoon. Breaking ball lifted to left field. Fred Lewis is there, and he makes the catch and forgot how many outs there were. It's okay, Fred, we got you covered. Zepchinski strands a couple and is scoreless after 2 innings. Edwin Encarnacion will start things off here in the third inning. Greinke hits the outside corner for a strike. Encarnacion had a big night. 3 doubles in last night's game. He drove in 3 runs. Drives it toward the gap in right field. Long run from there. He's not going to get this ball. This ball is off the wall. Encarnacion around first with a stand-up double. A leadoff double here in the third inning. His 4th double in the last 2 nights.
Continues to hit the ball all over the ballpark and produce extra bases. Last night they were 3 doubles to left field. This time Greinke tries to go outside. He stays on that ball and drives it. That shows you the kind of power and the kind of strength that Edwin Encarnacion has in that bat. Leadoff double here in the third inning.
Boy, he is swinging a good bat right now, using the whole field and driving it deep to the opposite power alley.
Let's not forget he was robbed of a hit his first time up in yesterday's game.
A line drive off the pitcher. Jose Molina grounds it just foul at third base. Encarnacion hit a line drive in his first at bat right back to the mound, and it hit Anthony LaRue in the arm and in the stomach, and LaRue was literally knocked out of the ballgame. But Encarnacion was thrown out at first as the pitcher got on the ball and made the throw to first.
He covered that breaking ball. It was over the middle of the plate. He just hammered it. Continues to swing a hot bat.
No balls and a strike to Jose Molina. Right on the outside corner. Molina had a good look at it, thought it was up and away. Well, you got to battle now with 2 strikes and try to have a productive at bat, at least advance Encarnacion over to third. Strikes out. Greinke went down and away with a breaking pitch. Fred Lewis will bat now to get here in the third inning. At the end of the second inning, Fred Lewis catches the fly ball and forgot how many outs there were. And then his teammates reminded him, Fred, it's 1, 2, 3 here in the big leagues.
I'm not going to say anything because it's happened to me before, but I learned a trick a long time ago. You take 3 pieces of bubble gum, you put them in your back pocket every time there's an out. You take a piece out and put it in your mouth and chew it. When your pocket's empty, you can come on in.
I don't know if I want to try that one. Fred Lewis takes the ball outside. No score here in the third inning. Back out of play. You know, you get out there in the intensity of the game, and you get guys at second and third, and you get a fly ball, thinking, okay, set up, get behind it, make sure you get a good throw off, and then come up looking, and everybody's running off the field.
It's a lonely feeling, isn't it?
Oops.
Yep. It's happened to all of us.
A ball and a strike. 1 out here in the third inning. Up and away. We mentioned Greinke missed a start right before the All-Star break. He missed 9 days between starts, and that shoulder problem, as Pat mentioned, on a throw to first base. And obviously, anybody has any kind of soreness, you want to make sure you're conservative. So this is his 2nd start after missing a start. Cued off the end of the bat. This is going to be trouble. Callaspo makes a good play. Boy, Fred Lewis hit the edge of the bag in a very awkward manner. It kind of rolled over his ankle. But Callaspo made a good throw to throw him out.
He's got great range at third base. He just attacks this squibber off the bat of Lewis. Watch him go across the bag right there. You're right on the outside part of the bag. Good play by Callaspo. Good strong throw. There it is. That's rolling your ankle right there.
All right, he's lucky he was able to get away without hurting his ankle on that one. Encarnacion has moved to third now with 2 outs. John McDonald was a strikeout victim his first time up.
We have seen Johnny Mack in this situation with 2 out drag bunt for a base hit to get the run in. That's why the third baseman Cayespo is creeping in on the grass.
Yeah, evidently he got the memo.
Yep.
He is guarding against the bunt. No balls and a strike. Excuse me, 1 ball and no strikes with 2 outs. Breaking ball. 1-1.
You know, and that's a great play when you've got somebody as tough as Zach Greinke out on the mound. You've got a runner at third base. Drop one down. Maybe something good will happen.
That's going to get down for a base. That's going to split the outfield as Encarnacion comes in to score. McDonald's headed for second. Here's the throw. Not in time. John McDonald delivers an RBI double to put the Blue Jays on top 1-0.
Or just go ahead and swing away and hit a double. This double was created right out of the box by John McDonald, who runs hard all the way. He is thinking too as soon as he sees it down. And with a good quick pop-up slide, makes it just ahead of the throw from Meyer, the center fielder.
Well, what a good job by Ted Barrett, the second base umpire. He was right on top of the bag and saw the slide, the tag, and waved Johnny McDonald safe. His 7th RBI of the season. Jose Bautista with a runner in scoring position. Way outside. Boy, how about the Blue Jays? 2 more doubles here this afternoon. They hit 8 last night. And that's the difference in their offense and the Royals offense. You get a couple of doubles in an inning, that's going to lead to a run.
Yeah, the Royals hitting .281 as a team, but they've lost 7 out of 8. They've only averaged 3 runs a game with all that hitting that they've been putting on.
Bautista takes a fastball. Let's see, Greinke's got a little extra on the 4-seam fastball. That was 97 miles an hour. Good slider down and away.
Boy, then he throws that on you. Reach back for a fastball on the outer edge. It looks like the same kind of pitch coming in, that slider. And then darts under your bat right at the last second. Tough to guess inside or outside with Zach Greinke because he has the ability to command both sides.
Laid off the fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the 3rd. Blue Jays have taken the lead on John McDonald's RBI double. Swing and a miss. Bautista goes down swinging. Greinke strikes out Bautista, but John McDonald has given the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. The off day on Thursday. Cleveland Indians will come in for a weekend series. For tickets, call 416-341-1234. Or you can log on to BlueJays.com, or you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations for tickets. Next homestand starts next Monday with the Orioles coming to Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt, the shortstop, leads things off here in the third inning. Blue Jays lead it 1-0. Betancourt had a couple hits in last night's game. You know, Pat, you talk about singles and how the Royals lead the American League in singles. That's a great trivia question. How many different ways can you get a single?
We were trying to figure it out in last night's game. Well, we came up with the bunt single, the broken bat single, the bloop single,
the swinging slash dribbler for a swingle. Scott Potts said that.
The run up, fake like you were bunting, slash at the ball, dead net in front of the plate single.
They can put the ball in play, and I talked to Kevin Seitzer yesterday. I said, man, these guys hit like you did. Never giving any at bats away, just battling, trying to get on base. And they can get some hits. A ball and 2 strikes, nobody out here, bottom of the third inning.
Well, they tracked the ball very well. And that's how Kevin Seitzer was as a batter. Never gave in.
Bounced foul.
Even with 2 strikes, he was still a very dangerous type of hitter because he had the ability to wait very long and then flick his bat at the ball and shoot it up the gap in right center field. He owns a batting cage here in Kansas City with Mike McFarland, and he's been coaching lessons for years and years about hitting.
And this really became a dream come true for him to become the hitting coach for the Royals. Once he played here, he stayed here, made his home here, started the business here, and now he is their hitting coach. Full count.
He's got a son who was in college at Oklahoma at 6'6" first baseman. He's going to be playing pro ball someday also. Said Seitzer, 6'6". I mean, you're only about 6 foot. Where'd he get all that size?
Ball in the gap. That's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Betancourt around first. He's headed to second. He's making the turn. He's going to third base, and there'll be no throw. Yuniesky Betancourt with the triple, his second of the season.
This ballpark for years and years and years has been a great place to hit triples. If you can get it into the gap or get it down the lines and have it ricochet around in the corners, if you have any kind of speed, you're going to have stand-up triples. This is Betancourt's second triple of the season. That one wasn't a flare. That ball was shot to right center field by Yuniesky Betancourt.
Well, the infield now has come in about halfway with Willie Bloomquist, the batter, and nobody out. Little flare into center. Wells has to come hard and can't make the play. Base hit. Throw to the plate. Betancourt slides. Tie game. Just like that, Willie Bloomquist delivers a base hit to center to tie it up at 1.
Not sure if he was jammed on this ball or he hit it off the end of the bat, but it was not solid contact. You see Molina move to the inside. That one jammed just a little bit. Vernon Wells has a shot at it, picks it off the grass, but it'll go as a hit with too much speed. Betancourt scores easily.
1-1 now. Mike Aviles looked like he was turning to bunt the ball on that throw to first base. He had shortened up on the bat. But knowing Aviles, that could be a decoy. He can handle the bat well. They can play hit and run here.
Yeah, you do that. You fake like you're bunting, and you hope for a fastball, and then you turn on it.
Was ripped but foul down the right side.
This team takes a lot of shots to right field. Have you noticed that in the 3 games that we have played here?
It's a good approach when you don't have a lot of power. You don't have to try to pull the ball out of the ballpark. You can let the ball travel. And there have been a lot of line drives right down that right field line.
with Overbay holding the runner on. There is a huge hole on the right side. They have hitters up and down their lineup who have the ability to inside out balls and spray the ball to right field. Plenty of speed to go first and third. Aviles took one shot there, trying to squeak one through the right side.
A ball and a strike. Off speed pitch in there. 1-2. Mark Zebchinski has given up a triple and a single here in the third inning as the Royals have tied it. Toss to first base. Bloomquist can run. He's got 5 steals and 8 attempts. And we mentioned the Royals don't strike out much, so if Ned Yost wants to play aggressively, he can start the runner and count on Aviles putting the ball in play. There goes the runner. Aviles does put it in play, but it's foul. Got a piece of it as they started the runner at first.
And the Blue Jays thinking right along with them. Usually with a right-handed batter up, the second baseman will cover on a steal, but they cross him up. It's the shortstop McDonald covering, so Hill can stay in that hole to take away a base hit.
Who's responsible for calling the coverage?
That will probably be the shortstop, John McDonald, but they have to be on the same page.
A ball and 2 strikes. Not running. 2-2. They're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the third inning. Nobody out. Yuniesky Betancourt hit a triple to the wall in right center. Brian Butterfield checking out the defense, making sure everybody is in their proper places. Butterfield always watches too the coaches, manager, the coach, seeing if he can pick up any kind of sign to indicate that there might be a play on.
In their scouting reports and before the series starts, they'll go over who's going to cover in what situation.
There goes the base runner. Aviles fouls it out. That ball was almost in Molina's glove when he got a piece of it.
And it was almost in Billy Butler's breadbasket, the on-deck hitter also.
You can see McDonald and Hill talking about their coverage now and their responsibility. Certainly when you watch Aviles swing the way he is, you've got to believe McDonald's going to have second base.
A lot of it depends on the pitch. If it's a breaking ball in the inner half, they might switch up and have Aaron Hill cover on a steal attempt.
2-2. Not running. Base hit into left field. That'll get down in front of Fred Lewis. First and second, nobody out.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
Boy, it is awfully tough to strike this team out. Watch this swing from Aviles. This is a 2-strike approach. Not very hard, not a full swing. Just get the bat on the ball and see if something good will happen. That is why this team is so hard to strike out.
Billy Butler swings and misses the first pitch. I think that approach by the Royals is the exact reason why Mark Zebchinski has been tagged for 5 hits. Nobody's trying to do too much. They don't know Zebchinski. They're just watching the ball, trying to put it in play. They have a triple, a double, and 3 singles. 0-1 to Butler. 0-2.
And for a big hitter, Billy Butler, a run producer, but he doesn't strike out a lot. Just 42 strikeouts this year to go along with 39 base on balls. It's a controlled type of swing.
What he does do, though, is hit into a lot of double plays. 22 double plays. That leads the American League. That ball is driven to left field. Fred Lewis is over to make the catch, and Butler's retired. The base runners will have to retreat. Butler made a bid for that ball to get down the line, but Fred Lewis, with that good speed, got over and made the catch. Wilson Betemit, the left fielder, grounded to shortstop his first time up. It's the first time Betemit has hit in the cleanup spot this year. Ned Yost trying to spark the offense a little bit. He has made several changes to his lineup. Up and away for a ball. First and second, one out for Betemit. That's why he's in there against Zebchinski, a .467 average against the lefties. 2 balls and no strikes. Good cut on, but foul back.
Betemit was a big-time prospect for the Atlanta Braves when he first showed up in the big leagues. He played some infield. I believe he came up as a third baseman. Big and strong, but he has bounced around different organizations. Now getting a chance with Kansas City. His contract was selected on May the 25th from the minor league.
He's now 28 years old, and he and Andy Marte were the 2 hot prospects for the Atlanta Braves coming through their system. 2 balls and a strike, just off the outside corner. Zebchinski's in a jam here in the third. He's already allowed a run to come in as runners at first and second. Just 1 down. Bloomquist is at second. Aviles is at first. Got to load the bases. A 1-out walk has loaded the bases for the one true threat in this lineup, Jose Guillen.
The one true threat who could knock the ball out of the ballpark. So just a chance now by Bruce Walton to come out and slow his pitcher down. It looked like he was getting ahead of himself right there, trying to make the pitch. A little anxious there against Betemit. The ball sailed on him a couple of times.
And Bruce Walton actually goes out there and talks about, hey, just execute 1 pitch at a time. Look for it. Make a good pitch, get ahead, and then build on that. That's what he's going to have to do now again. 52 pitches with just 1 out in the third. So the infield will play back, hoping to get a ground ball and turn the double play to get out of this inning. Breaking ball for a strike.
Ian loves hitting in the daylight. Also, he's a .369 hitter, which is 3rd best in the American League during day games.
Inside, that fastball pushes him off the plate. A ball on the strike. Up and away. You talked about Zebchinski's ability to throw breaking ball and fastball counts. He's going to have to utilize that to get out of this situation.
Jose Guillen is a great fastball hitter. Pitchers will try to crowd him with the fastball. If you miss, though, he's got great bat speed.
Popped up. Deep center field. Wells over. Now coming in a bit. Bloomquist tagging at third. The throw will go to third. Bloomquist will come across, and the Royals have taken the lead. So Jose Guillen, with his team leading 55th RBI on the sac fly, has given the Royals a 2-1 lead.
Strength. That was all strength. It looked like Zebchinski had beaten him on that pitch. but he muscles it out deep enough to score the run.
So now Alberto Callaspo, who beat the Blue Jays on Monday night with his 10th inning RBI single, has a chance to build on the lead. 2 outs. Checks his swing. First base umpire Phil Cuzzy says he can go. Royals have taken the lead with 2 runs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Line drive into left. Fred Lewis is there to make a shoot-top catch. Callaspo hit it hard again, but it's a line drive out. Royals get to Zepchinski. Fred Lewis saves another run. Big time. It'll be Ricky Romero, the left-hander, getting an extra day in between starts. He'll go up against the powerful Justin Verlander. Verlander 11-5 on the season for the Tigers, and the Tigers in the midst of a 7-game losing streak, trying to get things turned around. Zach Greinke will pitch here in the 4th inning with a 2-1 lead. Wells, Lynn, and Hill, the scheduled hitters. Vernon Wells takes the first pitch strike. Vernon had a single to center his first time up. It's that slow curveball, but it's bounced in the dirt.
72 miles an hour. He also threw one 70 miles an hour. As a hitter, that can really mess with your timing when you start popping it then at 94.
A good movement on that 2-seam fastball. Really dove down and in, and Greg Wells fouled it off his foot.
That's why it's so hard to guess along with Zach Greinke inside and outside, because he has the ability to pitch both sides of the plate with multiple pitches. I think the best way to go about attacking him is pick one side of the plate and stay on there until you get 2 strikes. If you look away, stay away. And just take the ball if he throws inside until you get the 2 strikes, or vice versa. Look inside until you get the 2 strikes.
A ball and 2 strikes. Wells hits it on the ground. Here comes Callaspo in front of the shortstop in time to get Wells.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
Beautiful afternoon here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Blue Jays trail it by a run, 2-1. Adam Lynn turns away from an inside fastball. You've hit against a lot of great pitchers in the same class as Zach Greinke. Is that the approach you wanted to take? Just pick a side of the plate and try to battle?
For the type of hitter that I was, I didn't have a whole lot of power.
It's a bouncing ball fielded on the grass by Aviles, and Hill is retired.
You know, I certainly wouldn't have like a Jose Bautista with a lot of power swing the way that I did, or an Adam Lind who has a lot of power. But the type of hitter that I was, I certainly, that would be my approach.
Roger Clemens is a guy that comes to mind, somebody that would be in that same category, a power guy that had good control.
Look for the ball away, take the ball in until you get to 2 strikes. Use the whole field. Because they have the ability to paint, if you start getting into a guessing game with these type of pitchers, you're going to look silly. And you're going to be 0 for 4 before you know it.
And that's what happens generally. You get up there, Greinke falls behind 2-0, and you say, okay, now I'm going to change my approach. And that's when Greinke really takes advantage of hitters. I could never do that. I always changed. I said, okay, now I got him. Little did I know that he had me.
2-0, swing hard just in case.
You never know. Boy, what a good pitch that is. Right on the corner, running back over to catch the outside edge. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Aaron Hill wants to make sure that that was a strike, and now he's asking for a new bat. That's the first time I've ever seen that, a broken bat on a called strike.
They could break a little bit down at the handle area there. Last time up, he struck out, maybe on a foul ball or something, that he chipped it. Can't hit that one. May as well take it, because you can't do anything with that fastball.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Aaron Hill. There are 2 outs here in the 4th. Off the plate. And this is typical of a pitcher of the class of Zach Greinke. His team takes the lead. He comes right out, and he is in a position for a 1-2-3 inning.
Takes it up another notch. Take it up a little bit higher.
And that's what he does. He catches Aaron Hill looking at a breaking ball. It is a 1-2-3 inning. Greinke has 5 strikeouts through 4 innings.
Independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Beautiful Kansas City on a hot summer day. That was the plaza area with a lot of fountains downtown where the ball club is staying in Kansas City. Beautiful afternoon. Great little town here in Kansas City. Made my home here for about 18 years and enjoyed every minute of it.
Probably right where that last fountain was, right?
Not too far away. Brian Pena, the catcher, had a double down the right field line his first time up. He's at the count at 1-1 here as he faces Mark Zubchinski in the fourth inning. Pena's a switch-hitting catcher. He comes out of Havana, Cuba. And as we mentioned in last night's game, he and Yunel Escobar, the Blue Jay shortstop, grew up together playing baseball from the ages of 6 to 16. And then Brian Pena defected from Cuba. And he defected while the junior team was in Venezuela. And literally went through a bathroom window to escape from the ball club. Jumped into a car with a man he didn't know who had been set up to help him with his defection, and he made his way to Costa Rica.
As a 16-year-old, an interesting story. I mean, there was all kind of intrigue and mystery about a red glove and a blue glove and things like that.
16 years old. Can you imagine that? Imagine sending one of your children to Venezuela, so you have to go and play baseball in Venezuela as a 16-year-old?
No chance.
Not a chance.
They told him, if someone hands you a blue batting glove, it's on, or if it's a red batting glove, it's off. Well, and you forgot which one it was, blue or red, so he just went through a bathroom window to a car waiting for him.
2-2 on the ground to third. Foul ball. Third base umpire Brian Honora, when that ball crossed third base, it was his call and he indicated a foul ball. But the interesting aspect of Pena's defection as we take one more look at this bouncing ball to third. See there, it's wide, but once Pena defected, the security surrounding Yunel Escobar doubled, because everyone knew they were such close friends that they expected Escobar to try to defect as well. Bouncing ball into center field. Pena's 2 for 2. So Brian Pena's having a good afternoon and a rare start behind the plate. And Pena, really an interesting young man.
Yes.
Speaks wonderful English. Taught himself how to read and speak English watching television using the closed caption aspect. Incredible. So he's aboard with nobody out. High fly ball into shallow center field. Vernon Wells comes in looking up into the bright sun and makes the catch. 1 out.
Players that don't play a lot, it's important that when they do get a chance to make an impression on their manager. He has handled Zach Greinke extremely well so far in this ball game. You mentioned a couple of hits. You know, Ned Yost is taking some notes over there.
Well, Ned Yost played in a similar role when he was in Milwaukee backing up Ted Simmons. So he understands that to have a backup catcher that stays prepared, you need a very dedicated player. That's what Pena has done for him. 1 out now. Betancourt takes the first pitch outside. In the bottom of the fourth inning, the Royals have taken a lead here with 2 runs in the bottom of the third. It's a 2-1 ball game. Another ball shot down that right side, but foul. Boy, they do a great job staying behind the ball, trying to use a big part of this field.
Doesn't matter if it's an inside pitch or an outside pitch. They will take a shot to right field with a runner on first base.
A ball on a strike to the Royal shortstop, Betancourt. Down the left side, foul. American League hits leaders for teams. Texas Rangers atop, but there's the Royals right behind them.
.281 batting average for the Royals. Here are the Blue Jays. They make the most of their hits, Toronto, because of all the extra base hits and the home runs. Run score, they're right in the middle of the pack, the Blue Jays are in the American League.
Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think you'd like to meet in the middle somewhere between the Royals approach and the Blue Jays approach. Blue Jays would like to hit for a little higher average without sacrificing an awful lot of that power. And a fly ball into center. Vernon Wells almost in his tracks was there. 2 outs.
And Kansas City would like to hit for more power without sacrificing any of their batting average.
I think we have seen over the course of this summer that when the Blue Jays do go up against the upper echelon pitching, you don't hit a lot of home runs against them. So you need a few base hits and you need to string together some good at bats.
Even with the great hitting, the power hitting that the Blue Jays have, hitting with runners in scoring position, it really comes down to that. We saw it in yesterday's game when they pounded out all those hits and got all those runs. They hit really well with runners in scoring position as opposed to Monday when they were 3 for 16.
7 for 19 in last night's game. That led to 13 runs on 16 hits. And it doesn't hurt that 10 of those 16 hits were for extra bases. 1 ball, no strikes to Willie Bloomquist. Cuts and misses a breaking ball. Bottom of the 4th inning. The rubber game of this 3-game series. Foul tip. A ball and 2 strikes. Eddie Rodriguez formerly coached in the Blue Jays organization, both in the minors and in the big leagues. He managed in the minor leagues for several seasons. Now Mark Zepchinski, very deliberate in between pitches here. Pace of this game has slowed down. A ball and 2 strikes. Bounced in the dirt. 2-2. Jesse Litch in last night's game and Anthony LaRue, who started the game for the Royals, boy, they were rocking and firing. Jesse Litch had that early lead, 6-0 after 3, and the thunderstorms roll around, and he was in a hurry to get 5 innings.
He learned a little something about himself in yesterday's game, too.
Just threw a lot of strikes, and it worked. Bloomquist goes too far. Ipinski picks up the strikeout. Second strikeout of the afternoon, but the Royals have a 2-1 lead. Fly to Detroit for a 4-game weekend series. It'll start tomorrow afternoon. Then they return home to take on the Orioles at Rogers Center. Orioles are in town for a 3-game series, followed by Cleveland, and then the trip right back to New York. A quick 3-day road trip into New York to take on the Yankees Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Tampa Bay will be back at Rogers Center. Pretty interesting baseball coming up. And the Tigers, you know the Tigers are about ready to turn things around. They've lost 7 straight.
7 in a row for the Tigers. They are still in second place in the American League Central, just 3.5 games behind Chicago. Blue Jays might be catching them at a good time. And then Baltimore comes to the Rogers Center. They have the worst road record in the American League. They've only won 13 games all season long on the road. So a chance for the Jays to pick up some W's.
Hopped into foul ground along third as Kayaspa is over, and he has room to make the play. Now you look at the American League Central standings. The White Sox just had a great month of June to get things turned around, and they erased a very slow start. They have a 3.5-game lead over the Tigers and the Twins.
Got really well in interleague play, and then they have kept it going. That is going to be a 3-team race all the way to the end of this season.
One out now for Edwin Encarnacion. It takes a strike. It's not going to be a 3-team race until Justin Morneau gets back in the Twins lineup. And he's been out since the 7th of July when he suffered that concussion in Toronto. 2 quick outs here in the 5th. But Mauer's numbers are down. The power production is off, and without Morneau in the lineup, the Twins look like a different ballclub.
When they first came to Toronto right before the break, we looked at their lineup, up and down their lineup, and we're like, wow, this is very good. They had Delman Young hitting 8th. I think he has 64 RBI, something like that, hitting out of the 8th spot. Morneau's injury has changed the dynamics of that lineup severely.
Jose Molina takes a ball outside, and their pitching hasn't been good. Very average at best. Their starting pitching, which has always been a benchmark for them, has not been good.
That was a team where you heard a lot of rumors that Cliff Lee might head over and anchor that pitching staff. Well, he's off the market. There's still going to be one more deal, I think, for a big starter.
Well, the Phillies have scouts all over the place, and there's been some talk that they have been scouting the Houston Astros. Obviously, Roy Oswalt has been named as somebody that might move before the trade deadline. Phillies have young Jay Happ. I'm really not sure why they haven't tried him in the rotation. He pitched so well for them last year, and he's over his arm problem. He's pitching again in the minor leagues.
He's in the minor leagues.
Yeah. But they don't have Utley, and I don't think they're going to get vintage Chase Utley back even when he's healthy.
That has been a mystery in the National League. How come the Phillies haven't been able to score that many runs?
3 balls and 2 strikes. Jimmy Rollins was out early in the season, a couple of times on the disabled list. Now without Chase Utley, their offense has really been challenged. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Molina stays alive. National League East. Blue Jays just made that trade with them. Escobar and Gonzalez swapping teams, and the Braves lead by 6.5, and they have the pitching.
Yeah, they do. And the one thing that we have learned over the last couple of years about the National League East is that thing is never over. The Phillies have been a second-half club the last couple of years, and they have stormed past the Mets a couple of years ago. Marlins are never out of it with their good pitching.
Right back to Greinke. Molina slams his bat down. He hit it hard, but Greinke got it and made it quick out. 3 up, 3 down. Greinke's retired 7 in a row. He leads 2-1. Starters for the Blue Jays. It'll be Ricky Romero going up against Justin Verlander. That'll be tomorrow at 1:05. On Friday night, Markham goes up against Rick Porcello, making just his second start since being recalled from the minors. Porcello went 14-9 a year ago, but was sent down to the minors. Brett Cecil, Jeremy Bonderman on Saturday night, and the series will conclude with Jesse Litch going up against Armando Galarraga.
Our first look at the Tigers this year. Porcello, sinker ball man. Had a great year last year trying to get it back on track. Blue Jays last year were 5-3 versus Detroit. 2-2 at Comerica Park. Can't wait to see Verlander Romero in tomorrow's game.
Should be a good one. Ricky Romero gets an extra day's rest, ready to go. Aviles hits it to the gap, and that's going to get by Bautista all the way to the wall. Aviles can run. He's going around second, headed for third. The overthrow from Bautista allows Aviles to slide in with the leadoff triple. Well, we talked about this singles hitting ball club. They've hit 2 triples and a double here this afternoon.
When they juice it, though, in this ballpark, the way they can run, that is going to be 3. Third time in this series that they have had a leadoff triple. They have scored them both times. Ball dies right on the warning track in right field, and Aviles can really run. This will be his second triple of the season.
So that'll bring the Blue Jays infield in. Trying to cut down the run at the plate. Billy Butler is 0 for 2. He lined out to left field his last time up. Royals lead it 2-1. All the scoring came back in the third inning. Blue Jays had a single run on the RBI double by John McDonald. Fouled out of play. The Royals scored 2 in their half of the third inning. A sac fly by Jose Guillen and a RBI single by Willie Bloomquist. A ball on the strike to Billy Butler.
Butler's the kind of hitter whose eyes lights up when there are runners on base. He's got a very good average at 313, but with runners on base, that thing jumps up to 317. Good run producer.
1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. That'll get him in, and that'll go all the way to the wall. A 1 hop bouncer off the wall. Aviles comes in to score. Butler's headed to second. Back-to-back extra base hits here in the 5th, and the Royals have taken a 3-1 lead.
There are certain hitters in baseball that just love hitting with runners on base or runners in scoring position. It's their time to shine, and I think Billy Butler is one of them. He rocks back and then goes down and golfs that ball into the corner in left field. Ricochets around a little bit. That's showing some power and some strength and some production.
Wilson Betemit takes the first pitch strike. Betemit, starting in left field today, has walked and grounded out. Billy Butler now has 48 RBI on the season. The team leader for Kansas City is Jose Guillen, who's driven in a run here today. He has 55. Oh, and 2. Breaking ball missed outside for the first time this afternoon. Blue Jays bullpen is working. Casey Jansen loosening up in a hurry. Jansen pitched an inning in last night's game, but he only threw 15 pitches. Fouled into the glove of Jose Molina. Betterman strikes out. First down of the 5th.
Looked like he was going for the knockout punch, trying to knock out Mark Zebchinski in this game. Cannot advance the runner. Zebchinski picks up his 3rd strikeout with that hard breaking ball against Betterman. You saw the numbers that Betterman had with runners in scoring position. Very good.
One out now for Jose Guillen. Popped out of play. Guillen had a sac fly in the 3rd inning, hit it deep to center field. That chased home Willie Bloomquist, who would later. Betancourt had been driven in by Bloomquist, and that's how the Royals took the lead in the 3rd. Off the plate, 1-1. Don't want to fall too much farther behind Zach Greinke. Last time the Blue Jays faced Greinke in Toronto, he pitched 7 innings of 2-hit ball. They held them to just 2 runs.
Seems to be finding his groove also. He has retired the last 7 batters. Right, don't fall too far behind. That's what Cito Gaston's thinking about right now with his starter, Zebchinski.
Bounce that gets away from Molina, goes all the way to the backstop, and Butler moves over to 3rd. Molina just tried to backhand that ball and then kicked off his glove back to the backstop.
Wherever that ball hits the dirt, especially on a breaking ball, which that was, it's liable to go anywhere. Tried to glove it instead of smothers it. Butler moves up, and now the infield has to come in. They can't afford to give up another one.
Butler now at 3rd base. And that'll get him in at least. This ball is hit hard. Brendan Wells at the wall, and the ball is off the wall. Guillen headed for 2nd. Butler jogs into home, and Guillen has an RBI double. That ball hit right off the top of the fence and stayed in the ballpark, and the Royals are coming up with key extra base hits here this afternoon.
Showing a lot more power than what we have seen the first 2 games in this series. Another extra base hit, the 3rd of the inning. This ball is smoked to left center field by Guillen. Wells gets back, and it looks like he got glove on the ball. But it hits right off the top of the fence, and he can't find it by the time Fred Lewis runs it down. It's a double and an RBI.
Little padding on the top of that fence in left field. Looked like it hit right on the top of that padding and stayed in the ballpark. Now Alberto Callasco. Right field. This is going to slice out of play. Again, another Royal hitter going the opposite way. They don't overswing too much.
Why not? He's going to turn his fastball over instead of beating it into the ground and grounding out. Stay right on it. Slap it the other way.
Two runs here in the 5th, and there's a line drive to McDonald. Guillen gets back safely to 2nd. 2 outs, and Cito Gaston has popped out of the dugout, and he has just made the call to the bullpen. He wants Casey Jansen now to come in to turn Brian Pena around and make him hit as a left-handed batter. So Mark Zebchinski will leave trailing by 3, giving up 9 hits here, and the runner at 2nd base is his responsibility. Casey Jansen will try to back. base and 2 outs. Jansen pitched the 7th inning in last night's game, gave up a hit and stranded a base runner. Jansen threw just 15 pitches in that outing last night. So he's on now trying to strand Jose Guillen at second.
Done a good job this year. A nice strikeout to walk ratio. Fresh enough that they can get him through this inning and possibly next inning, as they try to figure out the rest of the way. As we are just in the 5th inning. 4-1, trying to stop the bleeding right here.
Brian Pena will bat as a left-handed hitter for the first time this afternoon. He is 2 for 2 so far. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Jansen has allowed 8 of 16 inherited runners to score. He'd like to keep it a 3-run game right here. Cut on and missed by Pena. Casey Jansen's done a real good job against left-handed hitters, holding them to a 194 average.
But when he's pounding that strike zone and using that good slider, I think he can get anybody out. He has struck out at least 3 batters in a game 7 times this season.
That's popped up into left field. This is trouble. John McDonald. Nobody's going to get it. It's a fair ball. Guillen comes around third. He'll score. Brian Pena has a 3-hit day. A little flare down the left field line, just barely inside the foul line.
And another inherited runner scoring. 3 for 3. Pena, star of the game so far. Another one of those bloopers down the left field line into no man's land. That will now close the books on Mark Zebczynski. That's his run that crosses the plate.
So he will end up with 5 earned runs on 9 hits. Mitch Mayer takes the first pitch outside. Well, the Royals have had a 2-run 3rd inning, and now they're working on a 3-run 5th inning here. 2 outs, they have taken a 5-1 lead. Curveball for a strike.
Meyer has been swinging the bat hot also. He has hit in 10 of his last 11 ball games.
A ball on his strike. Swung over the top of that fastball down and in. Just missed the outside corner, delay steal. Pena steals it. Throw goes into center field. He'll get up, headed for third. Brian Pena taking advantage of this start here today. 3 hits, a stolen base, and now he moves up on the air. The Blue Jays were caught flat-footed with this delay steal. Watch the timing.
You take a couple of bounces off of first base, and you're hoping that the catcher doesn't pick you up. You're hoping that the middle infielders put their head down after the pitch. If it's a ball, that's what happens. It'll go as a stolen base, and error on Molina, his first of the season.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Myers stays alive.
Pena's second stolen base of the season.
That was a perfectly executed delay steal. And the timing is such that the infielders take their eye off the base runner when the pitch is headed toward home. They don't see the break. They don't expect the steal. There's a strikeout, and Molina blocks it to throw to first base. And Myers retired, but Brian Pena drives in a run. The Royals score 3 in the 5th. The Blue Jays got some work to do. a stolen base. Perfect execution.
You don't have to be a Blazer to steal a base. This is a delayed steal. You get a 2 or 3 hops, and right before the ball goes into the glove of the catcher, you take off. You're hoping that the catcher takes his eye off you. You hope the middle infielders take their eyes off you. They certainly did, and Pena will pick up the stolen base.
Yeah, that was perfect execution. He bounced off without turning and running for about 3 full strides. Just took a bounce and a bounce, and then he broke, and it was perfect.
You know what else helped him out was the left-handed batter, blocking the vision of the catcher, Jose Molina.
And the catcher will react to the infielders breaking to the bag. But when they didn't break and nobody covers, you just kind of figure, oh, that's not a stolen base, and he pulled it off perfectly. Dwayne Wise will come on and pinch hit here. No real indication as to why he's pinch hitting. Fred Lewis was the scheduled batter. Lewis did turn his ankle, tagging the base on his first at bat here at first base. He rolled over his ankle when he hit the bag hard. That might be a problem and might also affect him in the field.
Did not get a good jump on that ball that was blooped down the line. So Dwayne Wise is going to pick up the stick and take over for Freddie Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis turned his ankle when he hit the bag at first. Probably has something to do with the pinch hit appearance of Wise. Popped up. Second baseman Mike Aviles is there, and Wise is retired. Well, we're not really sure what the reason is, but this happened early in the ball game when Lewis was striding for the bag. Watch him reach, and that right ankle rolled over on him just as he hit first base.
Plays the game hard, does Fred Lewis. So you know something has to be up. Rolling your ankle like that, if you've never done that, that one is scary. You can break your ankle doing that.
Yeah, he just really extended to reach for the bag and hit it on the side and rolled over that ankle on the right foot. John McDonald has a double and an RBI. His second consecutive start at shortstop in place of Yunel Escobar. We mentioned the Blue Jays have some work to do. They've managed just a run on 3 hits against Zach Greinke. Well, there's that good slow breaking ball. It really messes up your timing.
If you are 15, 17 miles per hour difference between your fastball and your breaking ball, that's where the timing really gets messed up.
McDonald chases a breaking ball. Pena throws to first for the strikeout. 2 outs here in the 6th.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
2 outs here, top of the 6th inning. The Royals lead it 5-1. Jose Bautista is 0 for 2. That's on the first pitch. Hits it off the end of the bat. A little slow roller to second base, and it's a very quick inning for Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke's retired 10 in a row. game will be against the Orioles. You can get your best 80s outfit. Come on down to Rogers Center for a fun night. We'll go way back into the annals of baseball. And if you see Pat Tabler's baseball card there, Mr. Clutch on the baseball card. That's a special little touch. It's nice, huh?
Yeah. So is that hair.
Well, it was the 80s after all. That was 1986 there. Blue Jays night, Monday night. And Jesse Barfield will be there, sign autographs. Great night. Come on out Monday night at Rogers Center. Dwayne Wise takes over in left field. He came on to pinch hit for Fred Lewis. Betancourt pops it up. Shortstop John McDonald looking away from the sun and makes the catch. First out here in the 6th.
Blue Jays bench is very short to begin with. Escobar unavailable. Now Dwayne Wise into the game. John Buck is the only one left on the bench. Cito Gaston talked about that in Baltimore, how he's going to have to survive for a little bit with just 3 players on the bench.
Willie Bloomquist bunts it back over the screen, and I would expect something will probably happen either after the game today or tomorrow. 13 pitchers on the team. You just can't go into a 4-game series with 2 guys on the bench when you consider the 3rd guy as your backup catcher and you're reluctant to use him.
Well, we'll see how Fred Lewis is. Twists an ankle like that, he could be out for a little bit.
Bouncing ball. Bloomquist runs well, but Casey Jansen gets to it and flips to Overbay for the out. 2 quick outs here for Casey Jansen in the 6th.
Just give your manager some options with some of the injuries now. He can't afford to have anybody else injured today with just John Buck available now.
You would imagine that Escobar could come out and run the bases if you had to. Say you got into a tie game situation. He is suffering with a bruised right hand. 2 outs for Mike Kobilas. He hits it on the ground. Could be a very quick inning for Casey Jansen, and it is. A 1-2-3 6th inning as Casey Jansen comes out and fires and strikes. The Blue Jays trail by 4 after 6. Cubs day game and more NHL news on the Kovalchuk deal. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time for Connected with Brad Fay. Blue Jays in the 7th. Vernon Wells has his 2nd hit of the day, a ringing single into center. He's 2 for 3. Well, Blue Jays would love to get to Zach Greinke and somehow get to that bullpen before Joakim Soria can come into the game.
They're going to have to do it quick. That breaks a streak of 10 in a row by Greinke set down. That single. I guess if there is a weak point in the Royals, it's their setup in front of Soria.
Adam Lind takes the first pitch up and away. Robinson Tejeda has pitched very well in the 8th inning, but before that, they have some question marks. And we saw Tejeda here in the 8th inning on Monday night in a 1-2-3 8th inning with a strikeout of Adam Lind. And takes the strike. It's a ball and a strike to the Blue Jays DH. Zach Greinke and the Royals lead at 5-1 as the Blue Jays bat in the 7th. Well, Greinke can elevate that fastball as well as anybody in the game.
Yeah, he can. He can throw it at 95 miles an hour still in the 7th inning. Also reaching back for a little bit more. You can hear him running on just about every pitch now as we play in the 7th inning.
Bounced and blocked by Pena. Zach Greinke now at 85 pitches. Last time out against Oakland, he threw 93 pitches in 6 innings. In his previous start, 9 days before that Oakland start, he had a great game at Seattle, 7 innings of 2-hit ball. He missed up and away there, full count to Lind.
He talked after his last start that there really is nothing wrong with his shoulder. It just didn't feel right. Came up on a bunt, made a throw to first base, and felt some pain in there. It just didn't feel right. He also made an error in that game.
Lind swings and misses. He strikes out for a second time this afternoon. 1 out here in the 7th.
Still has plenty of fastball to get it by Lind, and that's where they have pitched him with 2 strikes up in the strike zone. That error by Greinke, his first in 4 years. Just a phenomenal athlete on the mound.
And there you see the 7 strikeouts for Zach. 1 out. Aaron Hill looking for his first hit of the afternoon. Pulls an inside pitch foul. Hill was robbed of a base hit in his first at bat in the 2nd inning on a fine play by the 3rd baseman Callaspo. Went to the backhand side, dogged it, threw across the diamond. Greinke just 5-9 at this point of the season, and as Pat mentioned earlier, a lot of that has to do with the fact he didn't have much run support early in the season.
And he had left a couple of starts where the bullpen gave up leads.
There's a base hit for Aaron Hill into left field. Vernon Wells rounds at second and holds there.
But he is certainly an elite pitcher in the American League. He's not all that big, so you wonder where he generates all that speed on his fastball. He gets great extension, great power from his lower half. Nice fluid delivery.
He's got great mechanics and generates an awful lot of arm speed, which will allow you to throw the ball hard. And you know, you're right, he's not a big guy, and he's listed at 6'2", 190. But he can certainly throw the fastball and still has plenty left.
Second in the American League last year in strikeouts, 242 strikeouts, which is just 2 off the team record for most Ks in a season.
Kyle Overbay, he is hitless in 2 trips. He has hit Greinke well in the past. Good opportunity for the Jays to get right back in this game with Overbay at the plate. First and second, one out. Two balls and no strikes. Overbay has just been a different hitter. He's quiet, he's more selective, he's seeing the ball better, and he can take those close pitches. Early in the season, he was wailing away at those.
And he can take that ball the other way hard, but if he can get out in front and pull one, there's a lot of room in the right field corner.
Pulls it on the ground and through there. Vernon Wells will come around third. He's going to score. Aaron Hill goes first to third, and Overbay delivers an RBI base hit under the glove of Billy Butler.
The Royals didn't think that he was going to be able to pull Zach Greinke, so they had their defense shifted around to left field. A lot of room in the right field corner, and that's exactly what Overbay does. Gets the barrel of the bat out in front on this pitch and hooks it under the glove of Butler. You can see as the ball goes into the outfield how much room he has to work with in the right field corner. So something brewing here again in the seventh inning for the Jays.
And now the red-hot Edwin Encarnacion with a double in 2 trips. His 4th double in the last 2 games. Had a good cut at that fastball. Boy, that ball ran inside and just ate him up. Robinson Tejeda. We just mentioned Tejeda and how effective he was against the Blue Jays on Monday night. Loosening up. Encarnacion fouls it into plate. He's in a hole 0-2.
They have tried pitching Encarnacion away, and he has burned them this whole series. Extra base hits galore. Looks like Greinke is trying to go inside so he can't extend those arms.
No balls and 2 strikes. Could be 2. Betancourt to second. Outlet back to first. It's a double play. Zach Greinke gets the ground ball he was looking for. He allows a run but minimizes the damage. He still has a 3-run lead. Music provided by Universal Canada. Bottom of the 7th inning here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Blue Jays have closed ground. They now trail 5-2. Casey Janssen came on with 2 outs in the 5th. Billy Butler is in a hole on 2. Jansen had a 1-2-3-6 inning. He gave up an RBI base hit to Ryan Pena. That allowed that inherited base runner to score. Hopped into center field. Vernon Wells has the ball in his sights and makes the catch. 1 out here in the 7th.
Struck out Meyer to end the 5th inning. Was very quick with everything in the 6th inning. Had a great play to help him out of that 6th inning, and then keeps punching that ball in the lower half of the strike zone to get a good hitter in Butler.
Wilson Bettering will bat left-handed for the first time this afternoon. Switch hitter turns around to face Casey Jansen. Takes a first pitch strike. Breaking ball fouled off at the plate. They mentioned at the start of this game the Blue Jays trying to win the season series here in Kansas City for the first time since 2003. It's always been a tough stop on the tour for the Blue Jays.
You know, it's not like the Royals have been world's champs since then. I mean, they've really struggled.
Strike 3 call. Betterman takes a fastball on the outside corner, and Casey Jansen has his first strikeout.
Quick work, Wilson Bettman. A couple of sliders and then a painting fastball on the outside corner rung up by Mike Estabrook. So that's hard to believe that the Blue Jays have not won a series here in 7 years.
2 outs now for Jose Guillen. When you think about it, without a lot of speed in the outfield, they weren't really tailor-made to play well in this ballpark. But that's improved now with Batista in right and Fred Lewis in left overall. But they're still looking at the prospects of that streak continuing here as they trail in this rubber game of the 3-game series. And as you mentioned, Kansas City hasn't actually been a world beater.
Yeah, they haven't been a playoff team for a long, long time. Something about it, they just match up really well against the Blue Jays.
I think, too, one thing that's going to have to turn around with the Blue Jays in general is the intensity. Every day you go into Yankee Stadium, it's there. You go into Boston, it's there. Even against Tampa Bay, you understand what you're up against. Jose Guillen lifts it into center field, and it's an easy inning for Casey Jansen. A 1-2-3 7th inning. Blue Jays have a couple of bats to close ground. Offers on quality vehicles. Summer's a great time to buy a Toyota. Zach Greinke jumps ahead of Jose Molina as Molina fouls it back. Zach Greinke, 7 strikeouts through 7 innings. He's held the Blue Jays just 2 runs on 6 hits. More importantly, he's kept them in the ballpark.
Certainly, he hasn't allowed a homer in his last 4 starts, and that's what the Blue Jays do.
Little pop up over in front of the Royals dugout. Pena can't make the play. Molina has life.
If he would have come up with that, I'm giving him the star of the game.
He's had quite a day. Brian Pena making just his 6th start of the season behind the plate. Has had 3 hits, has a stolen base, picked up an RBI. Done just about everything you can ask. And there, Greinke drops that slow curveball on Molina for his 8th strikeout.
It's almost an eephus pitch. Slow curveball really messes up the timing of Jose Molina.
Greinke, 7 1/3, 6 hits scattered. He hasn't walked the batter and has punched out 8. And as we mentioned, he has not given up a home run. Blue Jays have hit a home run in 13 straight. That's in jeopardy here this afternoon. There's a drive off the bat of Dwayne Wise, but the right fielder Willie Bloomquist slides over and makes the catch.
He's given up 13 home runs this year, Zach Greinke. 2 more than he gave up all of last year. It shows you how special he was in 2009.
Well, we mentioned he didn't give up a home run through his first 11 starts last year. Lyle Overbay hit the first home run off Greinke on June 5th a year ago.
And this has been an organization that has been built on young starting pitching that they've drafted and brought through their organization. One of the reasons why they won for so many years in the 70s and the 80s, the great starters they brought up.
Well, Zach Greinke's put on a pitching clinic here this afternoon. Jumps ahead of John McDonald with that slow curveball. McDonald shows button, pulls the bat back. John McDonald has an RBI. He had a double in the 3rd inning. And then Greinke has struck him out twice.
So he leads him off with a slow curveball for strike 1. That's a little respect.
Just outside. 2 balls and a strike.
If you're going to bunt on Zach Greinke, you've got to be just about perfect. He comes off that mound charging. He's very quick. Just an excellent athlete.
And John McDonald tries it, and it's just foul. But Greinke got over to it very quickly and saw that it was rolling in foul territory and picked it up quickly.
Again, he made his first error in 4 years.
Well, he's one of those guys that can do everything. He's a great golfer. He can swing the bat. He was a shortstop in high school, and here he has good judgment, just waiting until that ball was in foul ground before he picks it up. There was a story about one of his final starts before he was drafted when the scouts were all talking, well, you know, he's got a good breaking ball, but he doesn't have enough velocity. He walked over to a gathered group of scouts and said, I'm throwing nothing but fastballs today.
I'll prove to you.
Strike 3 call. Greinke drops the breaking ball on John McDonald. His 9th strikeout of the afternoon. A slow hook. Not much McDonald could do. iPod Touch. Streaming play-by-play and video highlights are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Blue Jays here in Kansas City will send to the mound David Percy here in the 8th inning. Casey Jansen with 2 1/3 innings of relief allowed just a single hit, but that hit came with a base runner in scoring position, and the run was charged to Mark Sepchinski.
David Percy pitched in yesterday's game, and he only faced one batter. That was Mitch Meyer, and he got him to ground out. So trying to finish this one off, he will face Cayespo, Pena, and Meyer again. Percy is now into his 17th game this year. Opponents hitting under 200 against him. He has corrected his flaw in his windup. He is throwing more strikes consistently. And when you throw 94, 95 miles an hour with good location, you're going to have good results.
Alberto Cayespo. He has been what you would call a pesky hitter throughout this entire series. Always has good at-bats, puts the ball in play. He has a single in 3 trips, but lined out twice.
Been very impressed with him at third base. He got good jumps. He has made all the plays. He has gone well to his left. He has gone well to his right.
Well, he's played the majority of his games at second base in his career. Oh boy, we have seen him play very well at third here in this series. And there he puts the ball in play, but it's going to be right to the right fielder, Bautista. We are in the bottom of the 8th inning with 1 out. Brian Pena has had a career day. Tied his career high with 3 hits and got a chance to establish a new one. Percy up and away. Back out of play. A ball on the strike.
Boy, there's nothing like contributing to your ball club when you sit around. You don't have that many at bats, and Pena certainly doesn't have that, but he got his chance today, and he has really shined. Throwing a stolen base, catching Zach Greinke.
Inside, 2 balls and a strike. Very difficult when you know you're not going to play hardly at all. I mean, a lot of catchers get to play at least once a week. That's basically Jose Molina's program. Not once a week he gets to play, so he never sits for an extended period of time. Cut on and miss.
Jason Kendall never takes a day off, though.
He has started all but 6 games now this season, and that's been the way Kendall has played his entire life. Not only does he start him, he finishes him, catches every inning. So Pena really has to put in a lot of extra work to keep sharp.
What do we see the first day we were in here? He was out here early working with John Gibbons. His release and throw to second base felt like they needed to work on that. The transfer from the glove to the hand, he's throwing quite well.
This time he goes down on strikes. Big swing and a miss by Pena. First time he's been retired this afternoon. 2 outs for David Percy.
Got a lot of heat in that arm for Percy. Blows that one right by him. Right-handers are hitting just .205 against Percy this year.
2 outs now for Mitch Meyer, who fouls it off. Percy's been really put in a good situation. They can handpick the opportunities they use him. They make sure that early on they were pitching in very low pressure situations, and now he's been upgraded a bit, and they have a little more confidence that he can handle just about anything they throw his way. But even in last night's game, when he came in with 2 outs, and Meyer was the scheduled hitter, runners at first and third. But the game was well at hand then. It wasn't as if it was a turning point in the ball game, but still they put him in a good situation where he can have success.
Experience. You got to gain that experience. You have to take baby steps. You have to start somewhere. And it would not surprise me by the end of this season we might see David Percy pitching in tight situations late in games.
Bouncing ball knocked down by Hill. He runs up and throws out Meyer. What a play. Aaron Hill has had a series defensively. Takes another hit away from Mitch Meyer. And David Percy has a clean inning because of the good defense behind him. Great range by Hill. The dive, gets to his feet, throws a strike. Just 2 earned runs, and Pat, the big thing again today, he didn't walk a batter.
8th time this season he had not walked a batter in one of his starts. 9 strikeouts for the 3rd time this year. He will turn it over to the closer, Joakim Soria. 0-2 with a 2.37 earned run average. Excellent. 25 for 27 in saves. You know what you're getting from him. He can cut that fastball, and he's got a good breaking ball.
There's that cut fastball for a strike. Soria is tied with Neftali Feliz atop the American League in saves with 25. And if you're thinking about a big comeback here in the 9th, the Blue Jays are 1 for 17 combined against Soria. Bouncing ball to Butler. Underhand toss to Soria. 1 quick out here in the 9th.
He makes you put the ball in play. He's got fantastic control. He's got good movement. A little bit like Mariano Rivera. And the fact that he cuts the ball, he throws hard. Nothing is really straight when Soria is on the mound.
A lot of movement, and he has a couple of breaking balls that he will use occasionally, but it's all about the fastball location and movement. Brendan Wells has had a couple of hits and scored a run here this afternoon. 2 for 3.
This is his first save opportunity since July the 7th. They just haven't come because of this Kansas City team that has struggled.
And when he picked up that save on July 7th, that gave him 25, and that's where he stands now. And Neftali Feliz has caught him for the lead. Top time. Neftali Feliz, the young closer for the Texas Rangers, who are having a phenomenal season with Vladimir Guerrero, Josh Hamilton, Nelson Cruz, Ian Kinsler, and Michael Young, some offensive juggernaut.
If they get just a little pitching, they're going to be just fine with that offense.
Brendan Wells with his 3rd hit of the afternoon. A 1-out single. Wells has 3 of the 7 hits. Here the leaderboard for the American League saves leaders. Soria tied with Felice Soriano of Tampa Bay, and then Kevin Gregg and Papelbon tied with 21.
Well, what you like about Soria, he's almost guaranteed. He's got a 92% success rate since he became a full-time closer back in July of 2007. Only Mariano Rivera at 94% is better than Soria.
One out for Adam Lynn. Swings and misses on a fastball. And you can see it's not 98, but there's a little late life to it, even when it's a four-seamer.
It's so easy. His delivery is so deliberate. Stays back, and all of a sudden that ball is right on top of you.
Soria ahead 0-2. Well, you can see, you mentioned the similarities with Mariano Rivera. He throws a lot of strikes. So the first thing you're thinking about is swinging, so you start your swing.
And he keeps it off the meat of the bat, the big part of the bat.
Breaking ball pulled into hole off the glove of Aviles. Vernon Wells will round second and head for third.
Adam Lynn has a hit streak going, and I don't think he's going to keep it on this play. It looked like Aviles was there to make the play, but it kicks up on him right at the last second, right there, and hops over his glove. We'll wait to see how they score it.
E4 just flashed it on the scoreboard. 8th error of the season for the Royals second baseman, but more importantly, Aaron Hill comes to the plate representing the tying run. Hill has a single in 3 at bats. Blue Jays with an opportunity to extend their home run streak. They have yet to hit a home run in this game. It stands at 13.
Let's get one more guy on, and then we'll look for the home run. Lyle Overbay is certainly capable of doing that.
Runners at the corners, 1 out. Hill with the count in his favor. Takes a close pitch for a strike. Soria doesn't throw too many balls over the heart of the plate. Fouled off the catcher's mask. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Soria riding a streak of 18 straight saves. Hill swings and misses. Soria strikes him out. Boy, that was a fastball placed well on the outside.
With good late movement against a hot hitter. Hill singled his last time up, but goes down swinging here. Soria came into this game with 45 strikeouts and just 10 base on balls all season long.
Now, we had mentioned Soria's dominance over the Blue Jays. Coming into this game, just 1 for 17 for the entire roster. Overbay had that 1 hit. Wells has now collected a hit. Inside.
And you know, as an organization, you don't have to go out and spend a #1 draft pick to get a closer. They picked him up as a Rule 5 draft from the San Diego Padres, and it's been golden for him.
It just shows you that if you do your homework and go down and explore the minor leagues and have a good idea, Soria's a strike thrower with good velocity. An opportunity for Kansas City to get him in the organization. Overbay pops it down the left side, but back into the seats. A ball and a strike. Blue Jays down to their final out. Overbay has a single, drove in a run with that base hit to right in the 7th. Blue Jays had a golden opportunity in the 7th, but Greinke got the double play to end the inning. Fouled off at the plate. Blue Jays have leaned heavily on the home run. They haven't hit one today. They are 20 ahead of second place Boston in the home run department. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bouncing ball. This should do it. Aviles has it, and Overbay's retired. Soria picks up the save. Number 26 on the season. He saves the game for Zach Greinke, who improves to 6-9. Blue Jays lose the series 2-1 here in Kansas City. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon from Detroit.